Hey, this is, I think, my first time trying a stream with StreamYard, so hopefully this works. I know it's been a while since I last streamed. Sorry for people who regularly view my channel or used to when I would actually put videos up. Anyway, to get into it today, I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk about two different types of racists that I have seen and interacted with. Specifically, today I'm talking about white people who are racist. I know that I do believe you can be racist even if you're not white. You can be racist against any race, really. But today, specifically, I'm talking about two groups of white people who are racist against others. The first group are what most people think of when they think about racist white people, the white supremacists, like the Charlottesville protesters, the modern alt-right, the KKK, so on like that. I know I may upset a few people here because I'm going to talk about why they feel the way that they do. I do not agree with any form of white supremacy. I will just say that straight from the start. But most people have reasons for why they believe what they believe, even if those reasons are wrong. In my experience from debating actual white supremacists, they've come to their beliefs for three different reasons, a combination usually of three different things. First, and quite often, they've looked at studies that show higher crime rates, lower standardized education scores among Black people, and so they believe that Black people are inherently more violent and less intelligent. They may have also heard rhetoric from Black extremists, like some of the Black Panthers, who have literally called for the extermination of the white race. I've seen these videos. There are actual people out there who say that all white people should be killed. That can make a person hate other races if they are white. They've also, many of these people, seen the hatred coming from politicians, celebrity, the mainstream media against white people, saying that the white race is evil, imperialistic, oppressive, etc. So when they experience this hatred because of their skin color, when they hear people calling for them and their children to be killed because of their skin color, and when they read these studies that indicate, oh, these races are worse than our race, it makes a difference there. This is what can drive them to the alt-right, to the KKK, things like that. It's not always the reason, but in my experience, it's generally some combination of these three. These people can be talked out of their position. This is why not all of them, but many times. This is why Daryl Davis was able to convert something like, I think, 200 members of the KKK. He's a Black man who would engage with them. He would talk with them. He would reason with them. They would realize that what he was saying made sense, and what they were experiencing, sitting and having a conversation with a Black man like this wasn't what they expected. And so through experience, through education, many of them can be deconverted and realize, no, there are individuals who are bad, but they're not bad because of their skin color. Just like there are individual white people who are horrible, and it's not their white skin that makes them horrible. Excuse me, he's about to get down and go after Stella. I don't know if you can see the head bob. I can feel it, but that means he's trying to get her attention. If she doesn't give it to him, he's going to try to jump. Anyway, sorry, I get distracted. I will engage with these types of racists, the alt-right. I don't know that I've ever spoken with a member of the KKK. If I have, I didn't know that they were a member. But I will engage with these people. I will talk to them because, in my experience, they can be reasoned with. They're usually willing to listen to reason. Not all of them. Some of them are just angry, militant. Not many of them are actually militant, but some of them are, and those I'm just like, no, I don't know. I might try, but I probably won't spend a lot of time with them just because I figure they're too far gone. Others are not honest with their arguments. They keep changing the goalposts. They'll say one thing and then say another. And then if you can, you say, well, that's wrong for this. Oh, well, then they jump to something else, and they're not honest. So I won't engage with them either. Excuse me. So I'm not saying that all of them are, oh, they're just misled, you just need to talk to them. No, not always. but in my experience, that is often the case. So for these racists, while I think that obviously I don't agree with what they believe, and I think that they can be dangerous, I don't think they usually are dangerous, but they can be reasoned with in general. Now, there is a second type that we don't talk about as much, or I should, we don't identify them as racist because they're not obviously racist if you don't, without looking at it. Okay, these other people have labeled them, and I like the label. They're calling them white supremacists with a guilty conscience. You may have heard that term. These are people who believe that they are themselves members of the master race, but they feel guilty about the fact that they are members of the master race. It is very difficult to talk to these people because they tend to get very emotional when they have their preconceptions challenged. I have yet to have a calm, rational discussion with one. So, sorry, my chair's broken. It just falls on occasion. Excuse me. I might just have to move the camera. Anyway, I need to get a new chair. I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh yeah, I've never been able to have a calm, rational discussion with one of these people, so I can't be entirely sure of what they believe and why they believe it. So I'm just going based on my experience and observation. And my experience is they are very emotional. And so I really think that they don't come to these beliefs through reason. I think that they just come to it based on emotion. In my experience, they truly believe white people are better off than all other races just because they're white. You'll hear people talk about white privilege. The only way that white skin can be a privilege in and of itself is if white skin is just better than all the others. For you to believe in white privilege, outside of anything else, just white privilege in and of itself, you have to believe white is the master race. So if you are born white, you are born privileged because you are a member of the master race and all other races are less than you. That is what white privilege means. Now, they would deny that and they would become furious if you said that, but that is what they're saying. They don't, and they can't explain what else it means. To be fair, come here. To be fair, many of them will give some arguments. So one of the arguments I've heard is that there are systems in place that allow white people to succeed and non-white people don't have the opportunity to succeed. But this is just pushing the envelope, meaning it just pushes everything a step back. Because when you ask, okay, how did these systems get set up? Oh, well, they were set up by white people. Okay, how were white people in a position to set up these systems? Oh, well, they conquered nations. They enslaved other nations. Say, okay, so they were the winners in history. Yes. How did they win? Well, they won because they were white. Okay, see, you just push the envelope back. All you're saying is white people are better than everybody else. And that's how white people always win. White people set up these systems that enable white people to continue to win. It's this, you have to believe, in order to subscribe to this set of beliefs of white privilege and white systemic racism and all of that, they believe whites are better than are just better than everyone else. They really believe that white is the master race. And again, whenever you say, don't you see, this is what you're saying, they get so angry. And actually, I think, no, come to think of it, I think somebody I talked to actually did admit that. Excuse me, I can't remember, but I think I did actually have one of them admit that. I don't remember very well. My memory's really, really bad. Anyway, so it's very difficult to reason with these people because it's this emotional, it's like a religious fundamentalist belief that a lot of you know I am a Christian, so I do believe in God, but God is essentially the ultimate presupposition. You can't. Okay, never mind. I don't want to get into that. I feel like it would be a good example if I could explain it properly, but I'm not going to get into that right now. A debate for another time. It's one of those things that they just believe it. You just have to accept that it's true, sort of. And again, that's why I don't want to. Okay, that was a bad example to use. But these people, these white supremacists with a guilty conscience, they just believe it, that white people are better just because white people are better. That's just the way it is. Now, in my experience, another interesting thing, remember with the first set, there were 3 different things to be considered. With this one, I guess there's 2. In my experience, most of the people who believe this are from white, middle to upper class backgrounds. And but they also want strong welfare programs. Now, it was only recently that I actually tied these 2 together in my mind, and I realized, okay, when you have people white, middle to upper class, and want strong welfare programs, and most people who are outside of that say, but this doesn't make sense. I mean, why don't you just sell all your possessions and give to the poor? Why don't you practice what you preach? Why do you have this wealth but want everybody else to give up theirs? What's going on? And it's only been recently. So I don't have proof for this. This is my own analysis. This is my own suppositions. I think that it is because they have succeeded financially and they see others that haven't, and they don't want to take responsibility for that. They don't want to say, I have earned this wealth when others haven't. They should have wealth, but I don't want to give up my wealth that I have earned, but I want to continue to earn wealth. So let's say they buy into this white privilege because it takes responsibility off of them. They didn't succeed based on their own merit, therefore they have no responsibility for their success. They don't need to give up their own wealth to help other people because their wealth didn't come from their own work. It came because they're privileged. They're the white race. It wouldn't matter if they did give it up. It would just all come back again. So what was the point? Again, I'm not sure about this. It's just something I've been thinking about lately, but it makes sense. Anyway, so this is a form of racism because they do believe that the white race is just better than all the others, more privileged than all the others. If you are born white, you are born a member of the master race. And as I mentioned earlier, in my experience, these people are almost impossible to deconvert because there is no reasoning behind their beliefs. It's like a religion with them. They just believe it and that's it. So they feel sorry for people who aren't white. They will call for other whites we need to help all of these poor people who are not white. They're oppressed because they're not white. They need help from white people because they're not white. The master race has a responsibility to take care of all these other lesser races. If you actually put it the way if you actually put it in words that this is what they actually believe, this is what they believe, and you can see how incredibly racist it is. They say, oh, listen to the experiences of non-whites, because all of these buzzwords that you hear, in my mind, these are the worst racists because they're self-hating whites. So they believe everybody else is less than, but they also hate white people for being better than in their minds. So they hate everybody. The white supremacists, actually in my experience, most white supremacists kind of like Asians. So they don't hate everybody else. They just hate almost everybody. Well, and they don't even hate, they just look down on almost everybody else. I haven't figured out, like I said, how to deconvert the second type. And I've gotten to the point where I just won't even engage with them because I'm just like, you're a racist that I'm not going to be able to reason with. I would love to figure out how to reason with them, and I would love to see them deconverted to make them realize you're not any better than anybody else, okay? Yes, in some countries, there are systems in place that do benefit some races. It doesn't mean that one race is better than another. It doesn't mean that one race needs to help another. Individuals with power can help people who don't have power. Individuals with wealth can help people who don't have wealth. But it's not about their race. It's about their position. It's about their power. It's about their wealth. It's about their abilities. I mean, I'm not disabled, but I actually have trouble with my legs. I have trouble, especially with my knees. Sometimes they stop working. I have a cane that if it's enough to where I can still walk, then I'll walk with a cane. On occasion, they just stop working entirely. Consequently, there are some jobs I can't hold. There are some times where I need to ask for help. I can't do everything on my own. Fortunately, I'm incredibly healthy otherwise, and I have no other issues. So there are other people who do have health issues, and I can help them because I'm healthy. Has nothing to do with my skin color. Has to do with the fact that I'm healthy. I'm also well off. I think I would be classified as middle class. I'm not entirely sure. It's because I've worked hard and because I spend very, very little. Trust me, I could be living paycheck to paycheck if I just bought everything I wanted. And, I mean, seriously, I wanted to convert 2 of the rooms in my house to dragon dens, so that I would love to have a dozen of them. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, sorry, total sidetrack there. So I'm responsible with money. Therefore, I have money. Therefore, you could say I am responsible to help people who need it. But that's again has nothing to do with my skin. Anyway, just moving. It got me thinking because I saw the video today. I don't know if you've seen it or not, of 2 white girls down in Minneapolis. I think it's Minneapolis, spray painting on the walls, BLM for Black Lives Matter. And just graffiti. And 2 white women, sorry, these are 2 white women doing it. 2 black women went up to them and said, "Stop, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And they're like, we're here to help. And they said, "No, this is not what we want. Black people are going to be blamed for this. Look at what you are damaging property, and black people are going to be blamed for this." And they just, whatever, and just went off. And I'm looking at these white girls and I'm thinking, you shouldn't judge by looks, but they look like 2 young middle-class white girls who have no problems of their own, but believe that they can go help all of these other poor races that just need their help because they're not privileged. This is racism. And these racists, I would say, I think, do more damage currently than do the other types, the KKK, the alt-right. Because right now, the alt-right and the KKK don't have power. But these other racists, these white supremacists with a guilty conscience, they do have power. Because we got a lot of them in political office, a lot of them in the media, a lot in the media. A lot of them are celebrities. And they are using their power, their wealth, their positions to spread this ideology, this religion, that whites are the master race and therefore need to help everybody else. Anyway, if you're watching this after the stream, that's the end of what I have to say. If you're on stream, now's where I respond to comments, and that always takes a bit. So, no, anyway. Okay, sorry. I'm not good at reading the comments while I'm streaming. So, okay. Sorry, yes, you guys are funny. Yeah, although I will say, no, I'm not Mark's girl. So I like I like that. You say Liz is Mark's girl, back off. That's sweet. Yes, Mark is very sweet, and honestly, if he lived in the U.S. or I lived in the UK, and he was 10 years older or I was 10 years younger, then yeah, he's definitely the type of person I'd date. But we live a long way apart, and we're not very close in age, so that's sweet. And he is a very sweet guy. But no, talking about Blaze is back here. I don't know if you can see him. He's actually climbing up. He'll hang on to my back so that he's just looking around back there. But hey, bud. Okay. Anyway, it looks like there are no, serious questions or whatever. Just thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I hope you have a good day.